What is going on, guys? Coach Scott King here with a super quick tutorial. So I figured I just tell you what I learned over the last couple days. I learned what a snippet was. So if you don't know what a snippet is, it's basically canned responses. So I can go ahead and make my, head a little bit smaller, move it over here. And the way I was doing it before, I had a notepad that I shared between all of my iDevices, my iPhone, my iPad, and basically I could just go to the note, copy it, and then have a quick response to anybody that was reaching out to me, because it's all about how fast you can be, right? So you want to make sure you get the information to them as soon as possible. And remember, your leads can only ask a certain amount of questions because they're probably not educated on whatever your service is. So just keep in mind that you can have pre-designed answers for the same questions that you get over and over again. And also having things within Go High Level, everything is, streamlined. Like basically people will talk to you on Facebook, Instagram, whatever else, what up app, they'll reach out to you however, right? So Go High Level will stream it all inside of one window, which makes it amazing. So I was in agency view. I just switched over to my sub account. And then if I go over here to conversations, right, these are people that are talking to me, and then recent transactions that I've had. And you can see these are unread. So basically, let's say Dion reaches out to me, and let's say he's a lead. He's going to ask me, are you available? What's your pricing? Certain amount of questions, like probably up to 3 or 4 questions that he's going to be able to ask if he's a new lead. So what I learned was snippets, right? You can basically take these canned responses that I already had in my, Apple Notes, and then plug them in inside of Go High Level so that you could just, fire off, your responses if your AI chat hasn't already answered a bunch of questions for them already. So over here, you can see I've already created a bunch of, different snippets, templates, quick responses, canned responses, whatever you want to call them. And you can have them as text, or you can have them as, email responses. So when you go over here, add a snippet, like how do you want to communicate with somebody? So you can see I've already made a bunch of email ones. I'll just show you what this one looks like. It's called the Icebreaker. Basically, it's my opening message that I send to people who just reached out, right? It's like, oh, here we are. This is what we do. Check out our promotional video, and then I'll follow up with you, to book a call. And then if you were doing this with, hundreds of leads like I have, it's easier to have the domino set up. You just tip over one domino, and then it'll keep track of everybody with the automation. So I can go over here and show you the one that I already made. Again, it's from system that I already had from my notes, and then I can go to edit snippet. And this is what it looks like on their phone. I'll move my head over here. It's called the Icebreaker. And basically, this is what it will look like when they get sent an email on their phone. And then, of course, it'll be sent to their email, so they can also check it, on a desktop if that's what they happen to be on, or iPad, or what have you, right? So basically, another thing to note, if you want to make things more personalized, we have, custom values. What's a custom value? If their information is already in your system, it'll say their first name. So custom values are here, and these are different ones that you can, assign with a certain command, right? So I go contact and then first name, and then it'll put their first name inside of the email, which is kind of cool, especially if you're, just getting to know them. And my AI, the chat bot on the website, is set up to ask them what their first name is, and it'll make them a contact card. So if they start asking questions via email, once we get their information, we can, personalize it and make it sent out to them, giving them the information, that I want to give them based on where they are on my signing ladder, right? They're cold leads, warm leads, hot leads. So basically, someone reaching out to me for the first time is a cold lead. So we got to warm them up. We give them some information, and then we do our due diligence by following up with them. So let's take this opening message called the Icebreaker, and then let's turn it into a text message. So basically, I set up a couple other text messages, but I deleted them to show you, kind of how it works. I use Project Shepherd, and basically I went into Project Shepherd, which is, a specialized, copyright AI bot that my coach developed, Frank Kern, and it's called Ojoy. If you want a link to that, send me a message. And I put this message inside of here, and then I told it to create a text message for me. I'll show you how easy it is, because you can just basically talk to this right now. So basically, I want to redo what I just did for demonstration purposes. I want you to take my icebreaker message, my opening message, and turn it into a text message, and I'll copy and paste the same information down below to give you the idea. So it's going to go ahead and, you know, take my voice and what I told it to do. I'm going to leave a bracket, paste my message, end bracket, and while that's doing that, I'll go over here and add a new text snippet, right? We'll call this Icebreaker text. Boom. So while that's doing that, it will take a second because this AI is a little bit different than other AIs because it doesn't do what is called trunking. Trunking is where it just kind of skips a bunch of words. This one will thoroughly go through the message and do the best that it can to give you a short message, which is already created one for me over here, and it's going to do pretty much the same thing over here. And it also left in the value brackets, so I could plug that into here, right? Say, hey, what's going on? And then it left me a little emoji, and this is what it'll look like on their phone, right? And it'll give them a link so they can set up a Zoom appointment with us, and it gives them all that information. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, right? So with that in mind, let's go ahead and refresh, make sure it's there. So there it is, Icebreaker, and you can see over here where my pointer is that it's a text. So if I go back to my conversations with Dion, so I go to Dion, right? And then let's say I wanted to send him a text message, and I'm already in line with conversations, so I don't have to go through a bunch of different other windows. Let's say I wanted to do an email response, right? I would just click on the snippets, and these are the different email responses that I already created. Now, it depends on what question they ask and what the email says. But if I wanted to do an SMS text message with, you know, the government officially approved number that I have within the company, I click on the text message, there's my icebreaker, and then I can send it right there. And then once he responds to this, the AI takes over and then starts answering questions, which has already been trained from one of my previous videos. So snippets, super cool. One of the things I have to learn for being approved to be a Go High Level certified, you know, admin. So just one thing I learned, and I think it's pretty amazing. And make sure to like, follow, subscribe. Thanks.